All right, y'all. Welcome to another installment of the Dismount Podcast. And today we are discussing character. Who am I for real? All right. So today, outline looks a little fancy. We're going, what is a character? What is a description of someone who has weak, or we'll throw this in there, developing character? Give them a little bit of, a little bit of leeway there. What is the description of someone who has strong character? We're going to sneak over into what is a description of someone who has questionable character, because, we all got to talk about that one. And then, can you describe someone who is a great / wild character? This is the wild card. Who are they? What do they do? And what do they bring to the table? And then last but not least, we're going to define what type of character do we want to be changed into, become, known for, remembered as, and who are we working on being and creating right now? So I'm going to take the first question and we're going to run into what is character. And for me, character was and is the absolute essence of how I carry myself through life. And I had a lot of I threw a lot of open-ended questions into my response of what is a character? How do I treat myself? How do I treat others?
It got distracted.
It got shut down is what.
Shut down.
I think it's a developing character on the TV.
Heavily developing character.
Not a weak character, but developing.
That's a nice way to put it, honestly, if you think about it.
11:11 on the clock, too.
11:11 on the clock.
Ooh, and touching something blue.
Oh,
Make a wish.
Make a wish.
Whoa.
Ayo, I wish you would sign in. There we go. Boom.
All right, y'all, back to the regularly scheduled program. So, for me, character was how do I define how I treat myself first, how I treat others, and then how do I treat my surroundings? So am I someone who takes pride in my existence? Am I someone who loves deeply? Because that's a hard thing to do, whether it's loving yourself deeply, loving people around you deeply, and also loving those people who are just jackasses. Let's just put
Everyone's
it blunt.
getting it.
Everyone's getting it today. Real blunt. So for me, that was kind of where I took character as how much capacity do I have or can I build to hold space for all these things that I prioritize as being important to me?
Mm-hmm.
How about yourself, guys?
I'd say for me, character, it's defined as literally the attributes that are defining you. So for us, there's so much to unpack, and we can honestly have just an entire episode on this one question. But it's those characters that make up a person, whether that character makes that person look like an asshole, a tool, a villain, or it makes them look like the savior, the protector. We all can see those individuals and what kind of things, like the protector's not going to stand by, let somebody get walked over without speaking up. You got the passive person who they might be the doormat. And then lastly, you have the villain. The villain's just that person who has competing odds against you. So the defining character attributes are they have a different goal and they have a different way they go about things. And to you, if it's a completely different style, then they're going to come across as an asshole. It's not related to what we were talking about before this podcast started, but I think, there's quite a variety of characters. And then the one I think most fun, main character energy. You're just that person who has consistent principles, bounds that can't be broken. And to me, that's when you give off that main character energy.
Yeah. I think each character has their role too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone who you come in from the asshole perspective, or you're the good guy, or you're the unfortunately the doormat person. We were we were at the cemetery on the bikes this week, and there's like a staircase that had a name engraved to it. And I was like, oh, that's so funny. I told Zach, I said, man, when I die, I want my gravestone to actually just be a flight of stairs so people can walk all over me in the past life like they did when I was on planet Earth as well.
Oh,
Or,
damn.
or,
That's
in the
hilarious,
welcome me in the next life or whatever I said. So I don't know. That was funny to think of. But like, um, I just
Walk all over me like they did in my life
in
right
my
now.
life now, yeah.
It was-
I was like, huh, that'd be great. That'd be awesome. No big booby swings for me.
we went and saw the Winter Mausoleum. So,
Wow.
not to cut him off, but the Winter Mausoleum, we'll talk about that another time, but it is hilarious. And those out there, look up the Winter Mausoleum and just get a good laugh.
Yeah. So, anyway, I do think it's like the qualities and traits that you just someone brings to the table. Like that's I think as your character is kind of like a conglomeration of like those traits. Like, are you honest with yourself and others? Do you bring integrity to the table? Do you hold like true to like the moral compass, no matter like where you're going? So if you have these values, like when things come up in life, like I think when shit hits the fan, like what type of person are you? Like it's easy to be a good person when it's convenient, but I think like a true character shines when things aren't going great and you still are able to show up with those same values, that same moral compass as you would on an easy day. And it takes consistency and discipline and whatnot. I think for character, for me too, it kind of has to live in sync with your goals. Like if you have certain goals that you're striving towards, like the character, something that you can offer in the present moment to kind of keep you aligned with where you're trying to go. So, I think it's more about like again too, like with the discipline aspect, it's about the actions too, not so much your intentions. Like I can intend to be a good person, but am I just an asshole? You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So a couple of things, going into that too. I just think it comes down to like, with your character, it's kind of hard to hide from as well. Like I think if you get to know somebody, you can kind of tell someone's character pretty quickly. I think like maybe someone will use like a little bit of charm to hide away, like oh that guy's nice though, but like deep down might be like the kind of guy that doesn't return his shopping cart after he puts his groceries in the trunk.
It's a
Worse
great
to the human
example.
beings.
You ever see the like the social media account, the cart narc guy? Ever
I
send that to you
know-
guys?
Yes.
Oh,
I
yeah, you
love
did show.
that.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
did
that's
show
it's
us
my
that.
favorite thing in the world because it's just these people who go out to like a Walmart and they'll leave their cart in a perfectly fine parking spot, or it might roll down like smack into a car or something, and the guy will just run up, scoop it up, boop, 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 and it'll just run up like, "Sir, you forgot to put your cart away." And the reactions he gets out of these people is insane. And then he'll put a magnet on their car, like, "I'm an asshole," or like, "I forgot to return my cart" or something, and these people flip out. But like, I think the whole point of that is like that is such a simple thing to be able to do, and I think that's something that's very small that can show your character. Where like a lot of people, they might try to lead you astray on who they actually are, but simple things like that are kind of hard to hide from for sure.
I think a perfect example of just like an inanimate object that would be considered that you could use to describe solid character would be like a lighthouse.
Mm.
A lighthouse is, through the chaos of like a storm or a fog, that lighthouse is that beacon that's bringing you home, bringing you back to shore, bringing you back to
I love
safety,
that.
you know?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's clutch.
I think what's cool about was
No,
like
yeah,
I think
go.
about character too is like people have this like I don't know, some people might have like an empowerment issue of like, oh man, like why does this always happen to me, or like why do things like that victim mentality, and I think what's cool about character is like that's something that you could change immediately. You have a lot of the problems you run into in life are kind of created by you anyway, so like especially like character, like you can kind of go out of your way to be like, hey man, like this isn't really working out. Maybe I should value this aspect of who I am a little more, and kind of be able to actually fine tune and do a little bit of testing and try to be a better person if you so wish.
I think that would lead us into the next question of, what do you define weak character or developing character as? And for me, like to reiterate your point, like I feel that weak character is someone who doesn't know themselves. They don't know their triggers. They don't understand why they get mad about something. And they're living in that victim mentality where they're just kind of lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
And it's as opposed to the developing character, which is the person who I don't really care if it takes you 3 days to realize that you were an asshole 4 days ago. Which the math doesn't work out on that one, so I figured
Math
I'd
ain't
throw that
mathin',
one.
brother.
Math ain't mathin'. But if it comes to a point where you can look at yourself and go, oh shit, I totally was a piece of work.
Mm-hmm.
I need to go allow that person to know. And like, that's a whole nother level. And that's why I think the developing character has that, I'm working on this, man. I totally was a jagoff to you 3 days ago, and I am sorry for doing that. I've come to the realization versus the guy who's the weak character who never comes to that realization and never, ever,
Yeah.
realizes their bullshit.
I like that point because I kind of laughed at the developing character because I was like, oh, that's just like it's such like an easy way out, like you could be like, a weak type person, but maybe actually like I think the attributes maybe a weak character would share are some of the same that a developing character would have for sure. But what I think what's nice is like you actually acknowledge that, okay, again, it may have taken me a week to realize that I screwed something up, or that one time that like I thought didn't mean anything, I actually hurt you or whatever it might be. And being able to turn around and be like, no, I want to fix that. I want to go out and way to actually change how I approach that. And like those are two completely different things because you could have like, I mentioned like inconsistency in actions or like you avoid accountability. And someone with a weak character definitely like does that and almost blindly, but someone developing could still hold those same attributes, but be like, hey man, I'm just trying to figure things out. And that acknowledgement alone is pretty powerful.
Yeah, for me, the honestly, where our slash is in this question is awareness. Like that is the change between the weak character and the developing character for me. Just the awareness of, okay, I'm working on this stuff. Now I need to go let people know what the hell I just did to them. And that I realize what I just did to you was probably not what I should have done. For you, Ted, what is the weak character?
So it's funny because I'm almost verbatim, completely on the same page as like almost word for word what you guys are saying. And I would say the defining things, so I won't repeat what you just said. Awareness and accountability. Those are the two words of the developing character. I think that we're developing characters our entire lives. The weak character would be the person to say, I'm developed. But I think everyone's a developing character.
I like that.
I think everyone's a developing character, and I think the weak characters are the ones who just aren't trying. I won't plug in the whole story of what we talked about of somebody being an asshole to me recently. And I actually prayed for them today. I'll mention that on the podcast. I prayed for them. I'm like, pray for them for patience and all these things. But the person, it kills me because I follow the fundamental attribution error, and I don't believe that I could give it a proper justice. But basically, does someone act a certain undesirable way all the time to all kinds of people in all kinds of different situations? If it's not hitting all those boxes, then it's just a fundamental attribution error. That person might have had a bad day. But if that person consistently continues to act that way, basically just like, disrespectful towards other people's needs. They continue to act that way and selfish and just kind of be shitty, then that person, it's no longer the fundamental attribution error. If it keeps happening, continues to happen, they take no accountability, no awareness is actively being pursued, then I think that's a weak character. If they're developing, you can see maybe that person says something snobby towards you or snarky, and then the next day they come back, hey, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it to come off like that. I hope you didn't interpret it that way. If you did, I'm sorry. With the particular person I'm thinking of, that has never happened. I had a run-in with them a few months ago, and I was like, basically, a person said something snarky, and then I hit the tennis ball back over the net. I'm like, you've said it once, you said it twice. This is the third time I'm saying something back. So then I felt bad about it. And then I apologized the next day, and I got no apology in return.
Yeah.
I was like, whatever. So then a few months go by. I've heard snarky comments said to other people that I'm friends with and work with. And then they said something snarky to me again and cursed. And then I was like, I didn't have the time. I'm like, whatever. Walked away. And then the next day I came back, and I'm like, you know what? Part of me thinks I should let it go. Another part of me needs to just like set a standard. So I went by, said, hey, I'm not going to ask you how your day is going. I ain't going to bother you. But as long as you don't say what you said yesterday. And I'm like, all right, fine. Now we're going to move on. I expected some kind of an apology, but I don't need it. I'm just going to keep doing me. And I'm curious to see how that tomorrow goes. If that person's going to be a developing character or a weak character over time. So we'll see. My gut says that person's not going to change. They're already old enough to where they're set in their ways. But
Yeah.
Hard to teach an old dog new tricks, dude.
yeah. So
They say. I mean,
They say.
they say that.
Yeah.
So I think the distinguishing factor is awareness and accountability. Are you aware of what you're doing? Are you trying to become aware? And if you're, noticing later, are you going to back it up and just do the right thing?
Accountability was such a fantastic word to add on to that,
Mhm.
man.
Mm-hmm.
Like your description there was absolutely spot on. I love the accountability being thrown into that. So if you have such an amazing description of weak character / developing, what is your strong character?
So
I'm coming at you hot, man.
So this one I had trouble with. I had to turn to Merriam-Webster's. Thank you, Merriam-Webster's. That's one of the go-to I'd like to reference when we start an episode is, looking up the definitions of what words we're talking about. Strong character was hard to pin down. From what I got most of the time, it was talking about like, hey, it's someone who follows a moral code, ethical bounds, different things. And I was trying to find the loophole of, is it just talking about that? Or is it like someone who has a code and doesn't break the code? Because by that right, you could call John Wick someone who's a strong character, and he is. I like John Wick a lot.
Yeah.
Could say Gerard Butler in Law Abiding Citizen is. But I think what they're really getting at, most of the literature is saying someone who has ethical principles, takes responsibility, acts with respect. And I looked up 2 other definitions. It comes from, I don't know how to say it. Kerison is a verb meaning to cut and to sharpen. And it later became character, which is a mark or distinctive quality. So I like to think about it as like the world acts on you and you receive this cut, these things happen, you're molded, and then you present yourself back as somebody who has some defining traits. So I'd say a strong character is someone who's been marked, but then still acts with a moral code.
Oh man, what is the old samurai? The death by 1,000 cuts.
Damn.
I think so, yeah.
So it's like you're just going through life and you're just taking slash by slash, but it's you healing those situations and building yourself into something that can handle all of those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow, fuck this guy.
I know, man. It's hard to like. That's why I don't like going after him. I don't like answering questions after Brad. There's nothing to say. I do think like again, it's kind of that when shit hits the fan, like how do you act? And I think it's still holding true to the moral code that whatever you believe in, whatever values align with you. I think that no matter what situation may arise, you're able to offer that to like. I think it's funny because you think about what leans into. How a character affects other people and how you interact with other people. It's also like how you act towards yourself too, a lot of it. So like, making sure that you can continuously show up for yourself or show up for other people, or I think taking ownership of situations. Like even someone with strong character might still fail, but are you taking accountability, like we mentioned, for those actions? Are you taking ownership for your failures? Like, I think those are things where like I respect someone who comes from that. Where on the other side is like maybe, a weak type person would be, okay, like they, when failure comes to the situation or comes to arise, they blame it on someone else, or like they don't take that ownership of the situation. So I think like someone who I think of as strong character is like, they also don't need validation when they are helping someone else. I've seen as a huge point. Like they're not looking for, someone to, thanks for that, hand you offered me when you were moving, or like, they're not looking for reciprocation either. They're doing it because they know it's the right thing to do. And that's what stands out to me a lot, is someone that actually knows what the right thing to do is, has no problem doing it, and actually probably doesn't need anything in return for it.
Dude, we're all over the place on this one, and I love it.
I
Dude.
know.
We're coming from every angle, because for me, strong character was someone who knows themselves very deeply.
Yes.
And and sometimes you look at the person and you're like, what the does that person understand existence completely and like knows the universe like they're best friends? Like,
Yeah.
what the hell? How's this guy just carry himself like that? How's she carry herself like that? And mine was too. I had the statement of, this person doesn't care what you think about them.
Yeah, 100%.
And they carry themselves in their own way. And if they want to sit in the middle of an airport and do breathing exercises or like sit there and do dragon's breath while everyone's walking past them, what the fuck
What is
this
going
guy
on,
doing?
dude? That guy definitely believes in dragons.
And like, I see them as someone who doesn't care to be associated as being weird or the outcast. They're like, I beat to my own drum. But I am someone who at any point in time, I got a rhythm going on over here, but I can jump into any drum circle and just perfectly harmonize with the rest of the group.
Yeah.
Like that to me was the strong character. They are just so laser locked in on their life, what their focus is, but they know how to harmonize with everybody else around them to be able to continue to benefit themselves and benefit, the surroundings. Because so often I feel like a lot of us in growing up maybe had like some horse and blinders moments where we just thought like the world is all about me and it's, my life and you're living in it.
Very ego driven. I was gonna say that's one thing with the weak character that like I see, and not to cut you off, but like thinking about that is like how ego driven someone with a weak character can be. Like I think of like someone may have interacted with at a previous job or something, and like you wanted to like that person so bad. Like I give everyone the same chance, you know, until I'm given like a reason not to. Like I give everyone the same chance, and like you have someone who is so focused on like, is this what's best for me? My trajectory, whatever's going on in the workplace is so weird because like you don't really have to dedicate yourself to the people around you. You're there, it's your career, and you should take it seriously. You should take like your furtherment of like, wherever you're striving to go with your job. If it's like getting a promotion or like, going to be like the top seller in sales or whatever it might be. Like it is really hard. You do have to have an ego and you do have to kind of like, hey, I'm doing this for myself, but there's a way of doing it that can also not make you look like an asshole.
Yeah.
And, I'm just thinking of like that is because like, people would just be like, okay, like why? And another thing to think of with like a weaker character too is like those people have a gravitational pull. So a stronger person wouldn't allow that to affect them because you think of like, oh, this person, they slighted me. Like, oh, I got to get them back. And they almost take you down to their level. Someone with a strong character would turn around and be like, oh, I'm not even going to fret with that. Like, I know I'm on the right path. As long as I do what I got to do, I'm perfectly fine. So like I think of that weak character is like no matter how many times you try to give that person a chance, you just got to realize like you're probably better off stepping away because what that does, it kind of reinforces the character that you've built and the priorities you've built and understanding that like, hey, I don't even have to mess with that guy's energy.
Well, it's hard to we try not to compartmentalize things, but it's not a terrible thing to compartmentalize things and be like, hey,
you got to have a healthy relationship with that. That could be a slippery slope.
Hey man, I don't really associate with how you carry yourself, but like we're both on the same lacrosse team here right now, so like I want to win. And it means passing you the ball sometimes. And it means you passing me the ball sometimes when I'm wide the frick open.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, God, thinking about playing like video games or something, and like you're like, "Hey man, pass me the ball, dude." You're like, why are you trying to score every time? Like I'm right here. Like I think it's frustrating, but yeah, it's funny to think about too because like with so much of that, you wonder, okay, like how many not how many chances I got to do, but like on the other side of it's like, if I go out of my way to help you, like, is that going to benefit me anyway? And honestly, a lot of the times it does. Like, if you can still find a way to put that person's like negative energy out of the playing field and still go out of the way to help them, even if it doesn't change their perspective at all, that I think really builds up your character even further.
Well, I mean, that's a whole different ball game, dude. Yeah. That's building something that you're playing 3D chess at that point, dude. Like I'm hanging out here, I'm doing my stuff, but like I'm trying to get to here, but like I'm actually really working on here. And that to me is like a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
To where Do we go to the questionable character tape?
Yeah. Also, I want to acknowledge you pointed out the awesome blind spot of needing validation or not needing validation for like good deeds or just walking the right path.
Yeah.
So I want to highlight that is a blind spot I had in mind, that I didn't even think about that. Like both of you mentioned, not needing a validation, not caring what people think, just being true to yourself without being affected by the turmoil outside of yourself. The questionable character, I think the developing character is somebody that you just need to be mindful of, to just be like, hey, I understand. But it's the people who aren't empathetic or sympathetic towards the developing characters. And it's the people who have the blind spots, who absolutely need, I didn't mention this at all, but the people who absolutely need the validation, or they're not a strong character. That person's, again, another questionable. And then it's the weak character who doesn't learn, who doesn't try, who has no accountability, who has no awareness. Those people are going to make your life a whole lot harder, and they may need extra guidance and help along the way. But those are the people who are going to make life a lot more difficult than it has to be if they just refuse to learn. And I think each one of us in different ways with different people approach those characters and want to help. And then, they keep smacking away the hand that's feeding them. And you're just like, I'm just trying to help you. I definitely know I've heard each of us talk about that with some of our work stories in the past, where you're just like, let me help you. Like, I'm trying to get to you to help you become better. But if you don't let me help you grow, you're never going to get there. Or you may get there through tons of trials and tribulations that are just unnecessary.
Yeah.
But I think the questionable characters are the ones that kind of take away a lot of our light, trying to give their darkness some light.
Oh, I'll be blunt. I deal with this at my current job like no other right now. It's insane. It's
Thanks, Brandon.
ridiculous. You know, I'm not going down that rabbit hole. I ain't gonna shoot some shots.
That was exactly like when we were at the concert, and Zach in his own little pocket grooving at the concert. Iration's on. This is like fifth, sixth time you see him. Like, we love Iration. Zach's jamming, whatever, and he's kind of doing his own thing. And then I forget what Kyle said to you.
Oh, he goes, are you talking about the bikes?
No, I'm talking about when you were kind of like grooving out a little bit at the concert, and then Kyle was like, he gave you like this validation, like, you can dance, man. Like, you can bust a move. And then the second Kyle said something about Zach just broke down in this crazy, like, 10-foot radius, like the craziest dance moves you ever seen. Like, everyone turned around, was like, dude, look at this guy. He's jamming. And that's all I thought about was Brand's like, oh, well, the work stories. And I know we'll shuffle around that. But, and Zach's like, oh, we're talking work story. And I just imagined you, like, busting the move out again. Like, oh, no, you open the door. I'll walk it right through it.
Oh, you served the ball up. I will spike it home.
Yep.
I definitely deal with the questionable characters a lot. The questionable characters to me these are the ones where if you are potentially classified as one of these people, there's going to be a lot of people who are setting boundaries with you.
I'd rather you have a weak character almost than a questionable character. I don't know what the hell I'm getting out of you.
Right. Because the questionable character to me is the person who they really do anything to advance themselves. And it's only really about them, where it's like, okay, we all work here. I get that you want to be the person who potentially runs this place, but like, you also need to understand that there's been people here for a really, really long time. So if you're going to take that position, you better start earning the respect of everybody around here instead of rubbing people the wrong way to get to the top.
It almost changes my answer. Like, the weak character, I think, leans more into the victim mentality.
Yes.
And then I think the questionable character is the ego-driven, like, I'm going to do this for myself, no matter who it affects, no matter who hurts. I'll step on anybody I need to get where I'm going. Yeah,
because at the end of the day, I don't give a flying rat's ass about anybody here but me.
No, and that takes me back to, like, the people I was thinking of. I think it's definitely a questionable character, because it's exactly that. It's questionable. Like, can I sit there and go, I kind of see what you're doing? Like, yeah, I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you know what you're doing. And that's why I have to sit there, like, again, that's where you put up the barriers. Like, this person ain't going in the group chat. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't group chat this guy because he's going to turn around and be like, hey, look what they were talking about.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
That person to me is, how do you phrase it?
Jag off.
Yeah. Just, I mean, a douche is what I think I said. But that person is, they know what they want, and that is okay. But it's also to the point where, you know, like I said, so many people are going to put these boundaries up to you that you're cutting off people before you even give them the chance. And they're the type of person, in my opinion, that I can come to you and say, hey, man, hey, lady, I'm building my own shit. I got 3 podcasts. I got 5 brands. I'm trying to build a media company. I've already told the owners of the company that I am leaving at some point in time. How many different ways do I have to tell you that I'm an ally to help you make this place better versus, and then that person turns around and goes, they just said all that.
Yeah. Well, that's it. They're always looking for an angle. Like this is the person who will talk to you to your face one way, and then they'll go back to the next person and be like, oh, what about Zach, man? What do you think about Zach? Did you hear about that thing that Zach got into the other day? Blah, blah, blah. And you're like, just like, man, like, then that's where the barriers come. I was like, I can't tell you shit. Like, it got to be a professional on a need-to-know basis for me to interact with you.
These people have a horrible ability to trust other people.
Yeah. No, and it's the truth. Like, again, because they always have an angle, they assume you also must have an angle.
Yes.
Oh, what's he looking to get out of this?
Oh, I'm questioning what he's doing. Oh, now I'm the questionable character.
See, but that's again just like the weaker character. Like, this is someone again who has a gravitational pull, I think, because then they're trying to bring you down to their level a little bit, and you gotta make sure you take that step back. And nope, I'm not gonna stoop to this level. I'm not gonna send an email with a 1-word answer and a name in it to throw someone.
It was perfect.
Yeah, anyway, but you know what I mean? Like, and like that, again, I think things like that need to be done, in my opinion. Like, I do think, like, it's tough because you don't want to stoop yourself down to that level, but I do think there's ways that, like, again, the barriers or even protecting yourself, you know, in a situation, like, I think that's perfectly fine. It just stinks that, like, you work with someone like that, or like someone you interact with in life, that, like, to get through to them sometimes you do have to meet them where they are, which kind of sucks.
Well, if you allow it to affect you in any way, shape, or form, that's 40 hours of your week. That's 40 hours out of 5 days a week that you have to spend around this person and constantly feel some negativity or, like, dude, that's a lot of your existence. That's a lot of your time. You interact with those
people more than you do pretty much anyone else. You spend more time at work consistently doing that than you do anything.
Which makes, you know, getting out of the situation, like, I gotta get out of the situation. But then you put yourself into this horrible, like, you start ruining your character of, I gotta focus on me. I gotta focus on getting me out of here versus like, oh, I can have this happy balance of, you know, I can keep working on my stuff to get me to where I want to go. But, you know, I'm spending 40 hours of work a week here, and there are good people here, and I want to help those other good people. I need to make sure that I bring that to the table. Yeah. Then come into work and go, man, I fucking hate being here. Fuck this place. Fuck these people. And you're just like, how many F-bombs do you need to drop in a row, Zach, you know? Yeah. And it's just that mentality of, I'm just going to be miserable because I'm here. And you're like, dude, no, you're ruining your own character because of a situation that you can take the high road on.
Yeah. The questionable character also brings up, like, the instances where you don't know how they're going to act in a certain situation. Like, it's probably like, oh, hey, the guys are going out for a couple beers. You know, we're just going to stop down. Nothing crazy. We're not going to be out all night. And then, you know, this person rolls up and like 6 freaking whiskeys deep or something. And you're like, and now he's out there freaking, you know, trying to start a fight with somebody or whatever. Like, you know, that might lead into the wild card, which we're going to get into next. But, like, the questionable character is the person where I'm like, I don't think I need to invite this guy out, man. I know the last couple of times we did, there's always something with him, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what the questionable character is. Someone again, you got to keep their distance from. I think we'll get in the wild card now, I guess, because I think that person has a huge role in everyone's life. You know what I mean? Like the wild card is the person that I just all I heard while I was writing this out was you specifically just calling someone a character. Like you do it all the time. You're like, oh, that guy's a character. Like that's what I think a wild card is. And then like with the questionable character, it's like, again, they always have the angle for themselves. They're always doing this. I feel like the wild card is the person that's like bringing the energy, and no matter where they're going. And you were talking about like the strong character. I think like the person that kind of walks the beat of their own drum is that wild card type person, where they don't care about anyone's thoughts. They don't care about what people think of them at all. They're out there just looking for whatever angle that they see as like this is fun, or this is like something no one would ever go after, or like if we're going out to the bar, I'm gonna be the guy that's in the middle of the dance floor, like, oh my god, where'd Zach go, or whatever, where'd Brandon go, and you're just out there just busting a freaking move. Like that wild card is out there bringing the energy. Maybe it's not the person who like is babysitting your kids, but it's definitely like the guy that you want at your bachelor party.
I like that.
Yeah.
When you put I love that. I read that, was like, that is fantastic, dude. Because for me, the wild card is they're the person who can just at any point in time take something and just turn it on a dime, and it's just boom. Where the hell did that guy just come from? Okay, it's game on now. It's game time. They bring such a force of nature to any situation. The amount of energy that they pour into turning stuff around is just completely different.
Yeah. They're the person that you might not see around for like 12 months, and then they'll come to like one of the friend group outings or whatever, and they're there and everyone's talking to them and they got the same smile on their face, telling all these stories, and you're like, oh, that person comes, it's going to be a good fucking time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say often it ends up being that person who makes the unpredictable actions or choices that makes it wonderful. It can be really interesting in a good way and a bad way.
Yeah.
But I'll think about one wild card in particular, camping up at Ryan's, brought a pizza to cook.
Oh, shit.
And make your own pizza. All of a sudden, like, we're bringing beer. We got like gas station type of food. I want to say we're probably like 24, 25 years old. And then Zach shows up with like his own pan to cook a pizza on the fire. Like, not just like a pizza, like, Red Baron pizza from Giant Eagle. No, he brought like
We brought the Fiore's pizza kits, dude.
Yeah. Crazy. So what a wild card move. We're going camping, and, there's like me. I'm like the type like beef jerky, gas station sandwiches. And then, we're just roughing it. And then Zach brings out like a pizza kit, not just any pizza kit, but a fucking phenomenal pizza, and then cooks it right on the campfire itself.
That was a good time.
Yeah.
I'm the one in terms of I wrote it, so I gotta share it. To me, the wild card is the person who, when shit hits the fan, they scream poop sprinkler and just literally are like, you always wanted to experience what it's like to be a pig. Oink oink, motherfucker. And just like they just like shit's hitting the fan, and they completely make something where like it could be the most miserable experience, and they're like, this is wild, and you're just like, okay, I guess I'm gonna, why not just embrace this? Because what the hell else am I gonna do at this point in time?
Yeah, you're at the pirate game. It's a rain delay for 2 hours, and this guy's out there pounding beers with his shirt off in the pouring rain. We're just embracing the chaos.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, that negative into positive energy. I think you take any bad situation, this person could just mold it into their perfect day out.
Yeah, you transform chaos into wonder. Is
Wow.
what I felt.
Yeah.
When you said that, it made me think buffalo in nature, or bison. They run at a storm. They don't wait for it. They don't run away from it. They see a storm coming. They go, bring it on, bitch. And then they just go charging.
Yeah.
All the way through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they say that it's the point is to get through the storm as fast as possible, because why would you keep running from it? It's getting you, and then you get stuck at the end of the pasture, and now you're just sitting in the storm.
Now you're tired.
Now
Sitting
you're
in a storm.
exhausted, and you're just getting rained on the whole
Yep.
time, and you're like,
Yep.
this sucks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Whose fault's that?
Only yours.
Yep. Oh wow. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, can we name some first names of some wild cards?
Rye's definitely a wild card.
He is definitely.
Ryan's a wild card. John's
French
a wild
fry
card.
chuckling.
Yeah, Ryan back in his day was primetime wild card for sure.
John can be a wild card.
John is still.
I think-
John still has the capability of being the wild card when he channels the energy.
Also, for everyone watching, John is the one that's dressed as Lon John Silver's.
I think probably the most dynamic duo wild card is Ryan and John together.
Oh, yeah.
When you bring Ryan back together with John, and some of these draft parties that we've had recently,
Yeah.
when Ryan comes out and he just comes for the weekend, and it's like the kids are with Bess. I'm here, boys.
Yeah.
That is a whole different.
Yeah,
whole different
everyone
ballgame.
when you like everyone will take a step back when that occurs, and you look at those two, and everyone just has a smile on their face. You're just like, where the hell is this going?
Yes.
You know it's going somewhere.
Oh, they got two people on top of their shoulders, and they're on top of two people's shoulders having a wrestling match,
Yeah.
like inside of a. We have that
Yeah,
video.
yeah, and they're probably completely sober at that point. It's just like we've only been here 10 minutes.
That's a good way to put it.
yeah, exactly. No, it's cool. It's actually a funny point too to see like that. It's like situational based, or like it could be someone bring one person bringing out of another. Like when those two energies connect, the chaos that forms out of it is pretty cool to see, because that person alone, like you think of Rye, like 3 kids, great job, great wife, you know, lives a few hours away. Like that's not his 9 to 5, you know, he's not
Yeah.
like that. He's very calm and collected, but in certain situations, given that opportunity, he's still that guy.
Yeah, I took the wild card as they're also someone who, like, if there's too much freaking positivity getting pumped, like, yo, what the hell are these freaking Jamocha shakes on right now?
Yeah.
They're the person who can tune it down to like mood light setting.
Mhm.
It's not always just the like craziness, but like, okay, there's so much craziness on. All right, dude, we need to just have that for a second. For everyone. You know, like, let's chill out for a
Yeah.
minute, dude. Like we can sit here and say like the wild card is that person who constantly brings those wild moments, but I also think they're the person who can take that chaos, turn it into wonder, or take that chaos and turn it into calm.
Yeah. Rarely boring though.
No.
Never boring.
No, they do it in such a fantastic way. It's something you're like, where the hell did they come up with that?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Or like, how does their brain work that this is what we're experiencing right now? Because this is awesome.
Yeah, and I wrote down thinking about like different things. The ability that like you'll never forget that kind of person. Like you might even interact with someone. Like I think of like people you've introduced me to, and it's interesting because you could have one interaction. Like we go out to like Ledges for like a festival, and I think of a couple people that maybe only met there once or twice, and like that person sticks out like a sore thumb when you remember those stories. It might not be someone that you know deeply, but like if you go out and like, hey, we went out to a bachelor party, and like that one person, like you're gonna stick with that. That's gonna stick in your mind when you remember that instance every single time. Like that's the memorable type of person.
Yeah.
Also, who would you guys say is the wild card of my bachelor party?
That's a good question.
I don't know. You had the
I think it was
clutch
probably
deer
Zach.
steaks, and you had some pretty good moments.
Zach has wild card energy for sure, and he definitely like Zach has the hey, we're going camping. All right, Brandon brought the hot dog runs. Derek brought the chips. Zach brought a hammer and a bunch of nails. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell is that for? Like, oh no, we're going out smacking this into a tree stump later. Like, I don't know if that was your idea, but that's the kind of energy I think that you bring is like, hey, we're going camping, got the tent, got a sleeping bag. Zach got 3 pizza doughs in the trunk. You know what I mean? So I think for the bachelor party, I mean, like no one saw the deer. The deer steak were great, and that would have been fun. But Zach's like, no, we're marinating these overnight, and everyone talked about that. Like we think
People
bachelor.
still talk about
Yeah,
that
we
when
think
they
of
say bachelor party.
Right. You think Brandon's bachelor party. I think Zach was the guy that like stuck out like a sore thumb there.
Yeah,
It
you got
was-
the wild card award because that's the first thing everyone says. Those steaks, man. Every time.
They were so
Really?
Every time the first thing that someone comments on is the steaks, and then they comment on Derek with the hot tub and me bleeding within like 3 hours.
Yep.
So you're number one, Derek and me are number two.
I turned myself into a seafood boil on that trip, dude.
Yeah, you did.
It was like a bag of
Holy
corn.
I just remember being the shaman.
Yeah.
The first night we stayed up all night, and it was just John. John would grab a hatchet and just like whip it at a tree, and if it stuck perfectly, he'd turn to me and go, "More. It's not enough yet. More." And that to me is just. He was also the one who brought the nails.
Yeah,
He's the one who he showed up in his Timberlands with a big box of nails and a huge freaking hammer, and he was the one who brought the stump.
He brought a stump.
He brought the stump and a full weekend's worth of wood to burn nonstop.
Yes.
Hey, okay, we got the checklist here. Zach got the ice. Yep, Brandon got the hot dog buns, and John has 300 nails and a 10-pound hammer.
And a truck full of wood.
He brought the full truck full of wood.
Yeah, and a tree stump he ripped out with the back of his truck.
Oh, and he brought a super nail and a big sledge for the finale.
Oh man,
that was.
I think about stump way too often. Like I could, if you guys ever just want to get together on a Saturday and smack
maybe a
nails into
Sunday,
a tree stump.
after a podcast.
Oh, you mean like I don't know, like 3:00 today,
something like that.
We got about 13 stumps up the road in that yard that they cut down all those massive trees that I sent you those guys pictures. They have stumps like this big. It's like a table.
God. Damn.
And they say, "Please get these out of here."
Yeah.
I might know a guy with a big ass yard.
Brandon does have a solid yard, dude. So, okay, so we've talked a little bit about characters and, weak or strong or wild. So I guess to wrap it up, then what are we talking about as far as who we want to be or what type of character we're striving to be?
I think this is going to be a deep dive, so I'll let you go first, Hit.
Mine, you could probably anticipate what I'm going to say. I want to be the strong character, and like the true strong character. Someone who acts out of integrity, respect, has a strong moral code, but also, like you said, like strong awareness too. Like, there's certain codes that are meant to be broken. Like, you have to know when it's time to violate certain ethics to bring about other ones. Like, I just want to be the character who can look at the forest and the trees and then see the big picture and understand, like, hey, here's the things that can get overlooked. Here's the type of person you want to be, and try to learn all of these things inside the box so you can be the master outside the box. So I want to be that guy to understand how I fit, but also help other people. And I think we all relate to each other on this, how we can help people move forward. Like, I myself want to always keep growing, always keep moving, but I also don't want to leave people behind. Like, as I go forward and learn about myself, become a stronger version of me, and what I believe in, I want to take that code, and I'm not imposing it on other people, but I want to push other people to become better versions of themselves, respectfully with their own autonomy. Like, if there's somebody who's not willing, not wanting, okay, like, it's not my job to force you to grow. But if you're open to it and you want feedback or help or consultation, advice as to where I was, where I'm going, where I want to be, and the right ways that I've figured out how to get there and the wrong ways that have set me back, I like to be that character who can help push people forward. And, I like to entertain them in the meantime. I like, the zest of life. So I want to be that character with zest. I want to be the person with growth, and I want to help the other people get there as well.
You want to be the guy who shares the AA, the accountability and awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, maybe not snap on people if they are the weak, questionable characters who are like, testing me. Like to be the character who has a self-awareness, like we were talking about, and that I don't need the validation. I think that actually is something that I probably struggle with a little bit is, you work hard. And if it gets overlooked X amount of times, then you're like, what's this all for? It's like, it's for your integrity. You don't need
integrity.
You don't need to have other people reward you for being a good person. And I think that's where I strive. That's my blind spot. So that's probably the part I need to work on.
I would say the guy who doesn't need the, why has my father never said he's proud of me? Like, you don't need that validation. You know that you're doing it for you. You know what you're doing is strong. You're building this fantastic life for yourself. And if someone in your life who's very close to you, whether that's a family member, a friend, you know, the oldest person that you know, and they don't ever show you that, like, dude, you've been killing it. I can't believe who you turned into. It's incredible. So proud of you. And if you don't ever get that, you didn't need it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think for me, I know I mentioned the wild card, be the type of person that you don't want babysitting your kids, but I think that's the kind of person I want to become. I don't know if anyone would ever have me watch their children. I don't know. Maybe.
You might.
Thanks. Yeah, maybe. Maybe if I asked. I think it's a little bit of like believing you can watch children. I think about that. I was hanging out with my nephews. I'm like, I can watch these two little fuckers. They're fun. You know, they're cool. So I think what that comes from and stems out from is intentional and dependable were the two words I thought of, which was like, okay, I want to be able to say I'm going to do things and then actually have the belief in myself and also the belief from others that those things will actually get done. Like, I think that's important to me, is like that ability to show up when you don't want to show up when people need you, to put yourself aside and continue to not allow it to affect you or where you're going, but knowing that you are better for showing up for somebody or showing up for yourself and understanding like the goals you may have in hand. So I think staying in that pocket, that present type moment of like, hey, you know, maybe this person slighted me in the past, or maybe I won't get that validation I was hoping for. And you bringing that up is so true, because I think about like whether it's work or in life, and life's the tough one because, you know, no one's going to really be, to a certain extent they will, but no one's there cheering you on all the time. You know, people will probably be like, whoa, look at that transformation at the end, but they're never there giving you the slaps on the ass when you do the circuit down in the garage Monday, Wednesday, Friday or something. You know what I mean? So it's just that thought process that I'm going to be intentional in what I want to do. I'm going to be dependable to myself and others. And then I'm going to make sure that as I continue to do these things, I'm going to keep that moral compass of like, hey, what's important to me? What are the values that I want to hold true to? And allowing those pockets to take you further in life, and not letting the, and one thing I didn't mention, the weak character, where I feel like I have struggled too, and I would love to move out of, would be the, like the easily swayed type situations where like I thought about this was hilarious. I'm like, okay, my brother's 30th birthday, I'm drinking 17 beers. Like, I'm going to just get plastered. And I did. I successfully drank way too much. It was awesome. So great. From there, moving into vacation, I didn't want to drink. I was like, I'm not going to drink. All good. I've been drinking a little too much. Cut out the weekday drinking. Cut out the spending too. You go have like 3 beers. It's like $30 plus tip. And you're like, why did I do that? I could have just drank a beer at home. You know, so trying to save a little bit of money. But it was funny because I said that, and then last Friday did some volunteer work with a couple of coworkers, and after like, you want to get a beer? Like, hell yeah, go get a beer, sit down, drink it, text my girlfriend, hey, having a beer, volunteering went great, be home shortly. She goes, did you just say you weren't going to drink beer? And I'm like, I didn't even fucking think about it. I just impulsively just went out and, you know, had a fucking beer. And that's another thing I think goes into it, is like not only like the easily swayed, like I didn't tell my coworkers that, you know, and honestly, like even if like I had in mind that I wasn't gonna drink, I think that if they would have, come on, man, just one beer, you earned it. I'm like, yeah, I did earn it. I think I did earn it. You know, I'm gonna have a little sweet treat. I'm gonna have a fucking beer. You know, it could have swayed. Come on, Derek, what are you, a fucking pussy? You know, so
Yeah, we knew that was coming.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm like, no, I'm not I love drinking alcohol. So no, it's that, but it's also like the comfort and impulse too. It's so easy to like just allow things like, oh, like I know I was supposed to eat healthy. I'm just I don't feel like cooking or washing the dishes, and then so I have to wash the dishes, and then I have to cook, and then I have to wash the dishes again. Like, that's twice. Like, I don't want to do that. That's crazy. It's crazy talk. I'm just gonna talk about this is fine. I just throw the wrappers away.
My language.
Speaking my language. Can you hit the bell? Dong. That's our daily Taco Bell reference. So like, into short, I think it's just like, truthfully for me, it's I am going to do this and then actually believing that I'm going to do this. Because there's a lot of like talking the talk, but are you actually walking the walk? And I want to be more the walking more than the talking.
I respect that, dude.
Yeah.
The alcohol's a hard one because as long as that's in your system, like it takes like 3 days for you to be able to really fully pull that out. And like you can't burn fat while the alcohol's in there.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I know that I felt I geez Louise, let's cut to a couple pictures of Zach being 280 pounds. And I just remember like I'm sitting there going, I've been riding my bike 100 freaking miles. What the hell? I'm not losing any weight. And you're like, yeah, dude, but you just drank 6 beers for the last 3 days. And like, so now it's going to take an entire week for your body to come back, like to be able to start burning fat. And you're like, shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's tough because like, and then drinking alcohol breeds more drinking of alcohol. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, like, I'll be candid. I had some beers last night. If I like the date night with my girlfriend, I'm having a drink. They had this like it was just lemon, honey, and whiskey in a fucking cube of ice, and I was like, oh, dude, I drank 2 of those. They were incredible, so good. I mean, like my eyes just rolled in the back of my head thinking of how good it was.
You just see Ackham.
Yeah.
Game 7,
yeah,
this bad boy.
dude. Oh, that's tonight. Oh, I forgot about that.
That's right.
NBA Finals. Anyway, we don't talk about current events on this podcast. You guys have no clue. This is recorded in 2016, for all you know. No, I just thinking about that. Though, the drinking breeds more drinking. It sucks because that leans into like I woke up this morning and I'm like, oh man, I kind of feel like shit a little bit, like a little slower than I would be for sure. And that's tough because the what's the remedy? It's like, oh, I'm gonna make myself feel better by drinking more, and like that shit's tough. And then like that bleeds into, what you're supposed to get done, what you're supposed to do, like those intentions you set. So making sure that when you set those intentions and then understanding all the other things that can affect them and being true to, hey, no, this is the path. I'm not going to be swayed. I'm not going to have someone tell me I'm a pussy and go drink another beer. I'm not going to just act out of impulse and say, hey, I had a hard day and I really don't want to think about this shit. I'm going to have a couple of drinks. Like, no, this is what I said I'm going to do. I said I was going to eat healthy. I said I wasn't going to drink. I said I was going to wake up at 5 a.m. and go for a run before work. I'm actually going to do that. And I have found myself in the past way too much talking about all the things I want to do and not actually doing the things I want to do.
I respect that, dude.
Yeah.
It's but having the awareness alone is like to be able to look back and say like, yo, this is what I've been doing. This is what I want to do. All right. So how do we start bridging that gap?
Yeah, the awareness though is tough because if you keep just letting yourself go around the wrong path and you're aware of it the whole time, then you're just gonna drive yourself bonkers, man. My God, I'd rather not be aware. I'd rather be completely blind to my ignorance in the situation,
Yeah. Here comes the trauma loop again.
Yeah, God.
It's a new ride at Kennywood. It's trauma loop.
It's a fucking merry-go-round. I don't even want to talk about that. Anyway, do you want to expand a little bit on the character you're striving to be a little bit here?
So I don't want to be classified as any like direct thing other than if you want to put me in a box, it better be the UBSA. And that stands for Ultimate Badass Spiritual Adventurer.
I like that.
And I want to be someone who, and I was trying, when I first looked at this question, I was like, man, I'm going to keep playing small ball in life. That's something that I want to be. Like, I want people to look back. I want people to like, who meet me or like get to know me a little bit more, be like, man, that dude is woo-woo as shit, but he's adventuring through life. And damn, he's always there for the people around him. Like when he has to be like, yeah, that guy's a badass, like, holy shit, what is he doing? Oh, he's building this now? Wait, he just finished building an app. Whoa, hold up. What? Son of a bitch, what's this guy on, And so I ended up finally just like, I broke down and was like, nah, dude, I'm so sick and tired of playing small ball in life. And I've been doing it since, high school, and it's no longer time. I want to be an inspiration. I want to be an inspiration for my niece and nephew. I want to be an inspiration for people my age. I want to be an inspiration for kids coming up. I want to be an inspiration for people who are older than me who still haven't found their way, dude. And I have played such small ball, and you know what? I state and declare that if you were an asshole to me growing up throughout my years up until, 18, 19 years old, then I still love you as a human. I still see you as a human, but fuck you. And I'm just, it was such a bummer, dude, being called big-headed or like a big shot or like a pompous ass, like growing up.
Oh, I thought they like actually bet you had a big head, like your head was physically big.
I mean, I guess, yeah. I mean, some people told me, how'd you walk through that door right there? And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm just being me. Like, I'm sorry. Like, honestly, I got kind of personal when I was answering this question of like, it was really tough dealing with those situations, like growing up, and you're just sitting there and you're like, man, this person doesn't understand. All it is me versus me yesterday. Like, I'm trying to become better than I was yesterday. Like, I'm not trying to be better than you, better than this. I'm not trying to be the best person on this lacrosse team. I'm trying to be the person who helps this lacrosse team become the best version of itself.
Yeah.
And it's sad that when some people are just so comfortable in their own skin that people can just want to attack that because they're not comfortable in their own skin, and it makes them uncomfortable how comfortable you are.
You're a threat.
Yes.
Yeah, you become a threat to them.
You make me realize things about myself that I don't want to realize about myself, or that I'm trying to hide from myself or suppress at this moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to be an inspiration, but I the strong character is what I'm trying to be, that lighthouse that I was talking about.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and I think what's empowering is that you definitely already have the ability to do so. I think we all do. If you think about like your nieces or like my nephews or my little sister, like it could become frustrating for someone like me because you can realize you already have that power. You already inspire those people. You definitely do.
Yeah.
But like reminding yourself that that's the case and helping you, steer yourself back to lighthouse, or like you be a lighthouse to yourself, whatever, and like kind of center and ground yourself into like, hey, I'm already that. I just have to lean into it more. Just believe I am already that. Because once you believe whatever the hell you want to be, you can change your perspective on who you are immediately. You're just like, no, I am that person, and I'm going to continue to be that.
My biggest weakness has been that I've cared too much.
Yeah.
And it has gotten me burned way too many times, to the point where I have had to learn that I have to build a ring of rocks around the campfire to be able to protect myself from getting burned, that I have to build that boundary. But that ring of rocks is not a stable, cemented in piece, to where that is why I say, like, I have nothing but love for all of these people who might have made me feel uncomfortable, that I can easily move those rocks back and grow that fire even bigger.
But you're also offering warmth in that situation too. Like you're also providing, but allowing yourself the barriers you need to be able to continue to provide. And it's also like, hey, I don't want you to put my fire out, but I also don't want to hurt you either. So like there's an ability of like, hey, like I'm going to keep shining over here. I'm going to keep providing to you, but I need these barriers set up, or I need these walls kind of built around to continue to offer that to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
It makes me think of like your fire is inside a Stonehenge, and then it's like, leave your daggers at the outside. You can only come in without daggers.
Yeah.
So that's what I thought of whenever you pulled that up. I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So, gentlemen, this was an absolute fantastic rip that we just did on character. Who am I for real? Do you have any last words? Or, I mean, you emptied the tank. D emptied the tank. Fantastic. I don't even know if there's anything to say rolling out of here.
The only thing I'll say is that those wild cards create the opportunity for epic moments. That, to me, sums up the wild card.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think we mentioned it, but every character kind of has a role, just because maybe you're developing or / weak, whatever you want to call it, or you might be questionable. Like that person still has a role, and you just kind of have to accept that in life. Like if you're trying to grow yourself, you're trying to become strong, like understanding that those people won't knock you off your horse if you don't let them, and just continuing to be the best version of you, and understanding you have all the power in your role to do that.
Yeah, there might be a reason why you came across those people. Maybe they're building you into something, or they're showing you what you don't want to become or what you do want to become.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And it could be reminders too. You don't have to dig into that energy. You can just go, hell, and that's why I don't act like that. You know? Yeah. Look where it got you. You know?
Yeah, it can be as simple as that.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be this deep philosophical dive. It's just, whoa, hold up, back up, stay away.
Yeah,
you
it's,
know?
it's like the street smarts. It's not so much like, okay, I didn't have to read a book on this, but I can see that, like, hey, that's the path you chose to take, and look where it got you. I'm good.
Yeah, my final thoughts would be everybody is a character in their own right, and it's okay at whatever level you're at, because that's the whole beauty of life, is that you continue to keep growing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can keep expanding yourself, you can keep building your knowledge, you can keep holding more space, you can keep growing yourself, and don't allow shit to really affect you at a young age. Try to, I mean, if you're 13, 14, 18 listening to this episode, which that's not the demographic that's been listening to our stuff, but I mean, if for some reason this came across your TikTok, man, honestly, just, there's going to be a lot of shit that comes up in your life that's going to make you question things, and you're allowed to take that time to process that stuff, because none of us actually have all the answers. Because if any of us had all the answers, we sure as hell wouldn't be doing this shit down here, competing against each other and doing all this stuff. We'd have already experienced it all, and we would be, God, the source, whatever you want to phrase, the ultimate energy that we're all connected back to.
Yeah. You just got to reestablish exactly that, is not allowing the way someone interacted with you to affect you for longer than just hopefully like that immediate moment. Like, if you let shit kind of sit with you, and understanding that, like, every person, exactly what you just said, is still figuring out probably till the day they die, it releases a lot of the pressure you put on, like, interactions with people, or the way it affects you in building the person you want to be. If you can just kind of take shit at face value a little more, and then approach in the sense of, like, cool, like, hey, that's not going to serve me, and move on, or have an understanding that, hey, that person's just out here experiencing life for the first time too. Cut them a little slack. It's only going to benefit me, and probably, let them off the hook too. I think there's something to be said about that.
Yeah, I'm 33 years old, and I wrote a book in our notes of what I just summed up in probably about, 2 minutes, that I'm now fully releasing that trauma at 33 years old that happened 15 years ago. So do not do that. And we always say on this podcast, don't trust us, trust yourself, because you got all the answers. We got Brandon, we got Derry, we have myself, Zach, and this was another fantastic rip of the Dismount podcast. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Later.
Thank you, guys.
Don't hesitate to catch the gang's next release. Episode 45, Problem Solving. Why is listening so important? Let's give you 2 sneak peek questions that the guys journaled on before recording this next one. 1, how important do you think problem solving is to learning? And 2, what is something you can do better at problem solving, or is there something you want to share to help others increase their skills? This next one is going to be a little interesting, as the gang dives into quite an interesting topic of problem solving. Well, problems are everywhere. Do we create them, or do they create themselves? Do we create problems to be able to solve? Or is this just a natural habit of life, problem solving? Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys on the next release.